Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm going to be continuing a topic I discussed last week in a video I made about the new technology that's going to be coming out for 2015 through about 2025. And this is an extension on that, but it's going to be mainly focused on one thing. And that thing is the one thing that I know I'm incredibly excited for, and probably 98% of all gamers everywhere are excited for, and that's virtual reality. And this is something that in concept has been around for just about forever. Since we've had computers and technology, people have had the idea, can we get inside this and create a new world that we can interact with the way we do the world we really live in? Well, as it turns out, yes, virtual reality is a real thing on a very small scale basis right now, but it's coming faster than you may even think. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the most obvious thing that if you just look into any type of virtual reality at all, this is going to come up, and that is, of course, the Oculus Rift. I mean, you can check it out here. It's, the Oculus Rift headset. You put it on and you're inside the game. You move your head and your character moves and looks around. And we've seen, this thing out for a while now. There's different models and different, people have used this that's been at booths and conventions and stuff. And it's actually, all over YouTube at this point, people playing this thing and using it. So what's going to be new with this? The new thing about the Oculus Rift is actually the fact that it's been bought out by Facebook. Facebook, I believe, paid $2 billion and is now in control of the future of the Oculus Rift. This has led some people to be concerned that it's not going to be as much of a gaming device as it is a social device. But that's okay, because that's where Sony and Samsung are actually picking up the slack, and more specifically from what I've read is Sony getting into the gaming side of virtual reality, and they're going to be coming out with their own type of headset. Awesome, right? PlayStation fans everywhere rejoice. The next thing is something I actually just learned about a few weeks ago, and my mind was blown. I want one. I don't know how to get one, but I will find out. It's the Leap motion controller, and I don't know if you've seen this, but it looks nothing like a controller. It looks like a little, I don't know, well, just look at the picture. I don't know how to describe it. But it does exactly what you're seeing in the picture. You move your hands over and it tracks your hand movements and it maps them, And the first time I saw this thing actually was on PewDiePie's channel, and he was playing with this thing, and the things he was doing, like, oh my god, just awesome. We finally have this technology to where I can move and my computer will respond, and that in concept, we've done that with movies and green screening and the mapping for the modeling and video games and stuff, but now it's used as a controller. Now it's something that potentially people can have in their homes and you can play your video games with. And if that's not enough, there's one more thing that you really need to seriously look into. And this is the VirtuX Omni, I don't know if I said that right, VirtuX Omni treadmill. This thing I thought was so cool, and this I discovered, I saw Markiplier play this at a convention he was at. And it doesn't look like a normal treadmill, it looks kind of like a bowl. And once again, look at the picture. When your foot moves and it slides along those ridges there, that indicates that your character needs to move forward or back, depending on which way you are moving. Your character moves the same way you move. The thing around the waist, when you turn your body, it turns, the character's body. And with this, they have the gun, because this is specifically right now for a shooter type game that just looks amazing. Could you imagine using this to play something like Call of Duty or Battlefield? And yeah, this thing is really awesome. This is not going to be pronounced correctly, but I'm going to try it anyway. Jan Goet Galok. That was butchered. He's the chief executive of the Houston, Texas based Virtuix company, and quote, "Our mission is to take virtual reality beyond the chair. You're not just sitting down and pushing buttons, you're in it. You're in a first-person shooter, you are standing up, moving around, holding a gun. That makes the first-person shooter a blast and an immersive experience." Yes, yes it does. That was the end of the quote right before I started talking to myself and responding. And that's amazing. And another a quote from another guy that's actually actively working on these things is Oculus CEO Brendan Irib, maybe. He contends that the Crescent Bay, it's one of the different models of the Oculus Rift, is the first virtual reality experience from the company that does not cause any nausea, no motion sickness. And that makes him confident that the Crescent Bay will meet the minimum standards necessary for a consumer launch of the product. Now, this is amazing. This means that these things are going to start going on sale. And could you imagine, and let's be honest, let's ignore the price tag right now, because I'm sure this isn't going to be something I could afford right offhand. This is probably like a month's worth of pay for me. But if you could get your hands on the Oculus Rift, the Leap motion controller, and the Omni treadmill, and their software and hardware components were all designed together to interact with one another. You can use all of these on one game. You have the Oculus Rift that immerses your sense of sight and the movement of your head while standing on the Omni treadmill. You know, that gets your full body involved in the game, along with the Leap motion controller. That one, I'm not sure how that one's going to sync up exactly. I don't know that those are going to, but that idea is there to where you can see your hands. Because if I remember correctly, when Markiplier was playing the shooter, there were hands on screen, but they weren't actively his hands, like when PewDiePie was playing the Leap motion controller, where it was actively his hand, his clothing, and, you know, his pug. Combining these things, I believe that these things are supposed to be released in the next 2 years. Some people are saying 2015, some people are saying 2016 for consumer sale. I'm saying by 2020, we are going to be playing video games in a virtual reality environment. Something just out of nowhere. Something that the next gen consoles, they're going to have to step it up. Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, it's going to get to that point that the Xbox and the PlayStation doesn't cut it anymore. It's going to be these new companies like Oculus and Virtuix that are going to they're going to start challenging these generic concepts of gaming to where it's no longer a console game. It's a virtual reality game. It's going to be its own thing. It's going to revolutionize gaming, and it's something I'm very excited for, and I hope you all are excited for. Be sure to look into these some more. Thank you for hearing me rant about this. I hope you all are as excited as I am. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a comment about your thoughts on what you think virtual reality is going to end up being like, and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my newest videos, and I'll see y'all in the next one.